Happy Friday. Woo woo. Friday. It is a rainy, dark, monsoony Friday out here. I got two topics. They don't warrant their own video, but you all know I go and take this train off the track. I'm going to start with Cry Reese again and his lawsuit against Home Depot for racism for $1 million. And Home Depot was like, no, we have video and you're lying. You know, I talked about Tyrese before being that, he talks to people matter of factly with that fake ass. Ugh, I can't stand that voice. Do you want me to call the CEO of Home Depot? He's my neighbor. Would you like me to call and just trying to bully and intimidate this cashier because she is requesting ID because somebody that's not Tyrese is presenting her with a credit card that says Tyrese Gibson. So you're trying to bully and intimidate her because you don't want to go in the store and your contractor FaceTimes you to give you the approval, and she says that is not good enough. I need you to come in and show your ID because she didn't say this, but I'm saying this. This extremely indigenous Mexican looking contractor that's probably full of dust and construction clothing is presenting probably an Amex or whatever high quality metal credit card that says Tyrese Gibson on it. And she's requesting that you come into the store because if he's doing constructions, it's probably thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. She wants an ID. So you're trying to bully and intimidate her and tell her and get the manager, and the manager's there, and you're asking for last names, and she's saying, I'm not giving you my last name. And he's saying, you're a public employee. You have to give me your last name. No, she does not. She's not a civil servant. She's not a government worker. Home Depot is not a public entity. She says, no, I'm not giving you my last name. I'm going to give you my first name. She gave him the name that's written on that tag, Kaylee or Rayleigh or whatever. She's a young woman. She's not an old. She got to be 19, 20, if that. I'm not giving you my last name. Well, you're asking me for my last name and I'm giving it to you because you're the customer trying to present a credit card and she's trying to avoid fraud. That is her job. It is at the discretion of the employee to ask for ID. I used to be a cashier at McDonald's. If you gave me an ID that said LaQuisha Johnson and you look like a Tyrone Williams, I'm going to ask for ID. Or if you gave me a debit card that said LaQuisha and you look all of Ashley and Madison in the face, I'm going to ask for ID. What the fuck? It was the video. Now they played the video because he put up the video, I guess, of him FaceTiming. And when his intimidation tactics, okay, I won't say bullying, it was intimidation. When his intimidation tactics were not working and he threatened to call the CEO like she gives a fuck, she said, okay. Do you want me to call the CEO? He's my neighbor in Atlanta. Okay. And what's going to happen to me? Two things are going to happen to me. They're going to tell me good job and give me a star on the bulletin board and make me a store employee of the month because I diligently and vehemently followed your protocol, or they're going to give me a warning and a write-up. And if they do give me a warning and a write-up for doing what you told me to do and for following your policy, you're going to get me a bag and make me rich. So that is exactly her attitude, and good for her. She didn't let him bait her. She was calm and unbothered the whole time, and I think that's just what kept ticking him the fuck off, how unbothered she was. She was so unbothered. She was like, okay, girl, okay. Do whatever you gotta do. Okay. Like this. And you know how he lost with her? At the end, he kept calling her Karen. After she told him his name multiple times, she told him her name, and he said, "Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen." He tried to bait her because he knew his original argument. He was putting 20 on 10, and there was really no situation. Your privileged ass just didn't want to get out the car because you claimed that there was issues at the register and people started recognizing, so you went to go sit in the car. But Home Depot released the footage that that didn't happen. You kept putting stuff at the register. You kept going back for stuff. You made her wait 25 minutes and was holding up the line, and she had to clear out all of your purchases from her register and take the next customer, and said, "When you're ready, I will re-ring you up." That's what happened. You were annoyed that you could not hold up us regular poors, and that you felt that you had this, you felt you had this privilege. But let me tell you how you don't have this privilege. Because you were there at Home Depot with your contractor. You don't even have a separate credit card, a separate account for building, which you should. You could have a separate business account where it would say Tyrese Gibson Incorporated, or whatever you want to call it, and you put those repairs. But no, you had to put your building supplies on a credit card like us regular people, and you felt regular when you're a fucking elitist. That's why your feelings were hurt, and you tried to intimidate this woman. And if anybody who's watching this knows me personally, I'm very pro-black, and I'm also pro-woman, and it doesn't matter your race. If you're wrong, you're wrong. He was wrong. She's white, he's black. He was wrong. Calling her Karen was disrespectful. She did not deserve that. She didn't warrant that. She wasn't Karen-esque. If anything, you were a fucking Karen. Tyrese was Karen-esque. All she did was tell you how it was going to go down. You turned into a petulant child and had a behavior and tried to intimidate her and get your way. And then when it didn't work, this is how you know you lost. When he ended the conversation, y'all, he said, "I like your bangs." Because he kept calling her Karen and trying to bait her into a back and forth so that he could have a case. And it didn't work. And you conceded with, "I like your bangs." And then you lost, and you can't sleep at night because there was a woman chuckling in the background. So you had to save face because fragile masculinity was occurring. You then put this $1 million lawsuit, again clogging up the courts with your bullshit. And Home Depot said, "Oh, you didn't know that we had cameras at all our registers?" You have cameras at all your registers. Let me tell you something. When I went away to Poconos to have a sex-filled weekend, I went to Walmart, and I had an issue because what I was purchasing in the self-checkout, I guess, was too light to register as the weight. Because, they ring something, they know how much you're supposed to weigh, and you put it in there. It was some Halloween earrings, some cheapy shits that don't weigh nothing. And I had to get a clearance or whatever from, the attendant come around. They scan their badge, they put in their code. Let me tell you, it did a playback for this motherfucker to show him what I did. And he watched it. And then clicked OK. So you don't think a company with the caliber of a Walmart, that is Home Depot, is not going to have cameras at the register? They tell you, you're being... Smile, you're on camera. And it has audio, my nigga. It's not just video. It has audio. Let me tell you something. Go find it on YouTube. That video is clear. He was there. He was back and forth. He had her waiting. She was calm the whole fucking time. Anyway, we all worried about Kanye getting his big, juicy butt dick sucked in Italy. And we need to be worried about this unhinged nigga named Tyrese Gibson. And he kept saying, "My name is Tyrese Gibson. My name is Tyrese Gibson." And she was like, "Okay." What he thought she was going to be like, "Oh, Tyrese, I'm such a big fish." Unbothered. Because all she knows is you playing that Sambo nigga in fucking Fast and Furious. That's why I stopped watching Fast and Furious. I'm a car girl. I like to go fast. I'm Ricky Bobby. I want to go fast. I love it. I cannot get into those movies because fucking Tyrese is the what we gonna do? Sambo, Chicken George, shucking and jiving. I can't do it. And then when I watch him in Transformers, I don't know if he has in his rider that he has to have gallons of chapstick, because there's no way that you're playing a soldier in the desert. Everything is ashy and dusty, and them lips is too juicy for me to watch. I cannot watch it. Bring back Tyrese, the nigga that was singing in the Pepsi commercial in the back of the bus. That's the one I want, because this nigga got to go. He got to go. I'm done. I'm done. I can't even listen to his music anymore. And I'm the type of person, you have to separate the person from the art. I tried to do that. I tried to do it with R. Kelly. I definitely tried to do it with Bill Cosby because I'm an artiste. Separate the artist from his art. I try. I can't do it. That fucking why you wanna act like that was a banger for me. But now hearing all his crying, I can hear it, and I can't do it. Can't separate it. Now all he just cry Reese on every song for me. He's just, what more do you want from me? That's all I hear now. Zodiac Signs of Love was my shit. Okay? The songs I'm not making, are you my Zodiac queen? I've been looking for you, girl. You sending me. Come on. The worst thing that happened to celebrities is social media. What they say, don't meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed. Don't meet your idols, you'll be disappointed. I think I'm going to unfollow, because I do follow a few people, but the ones that I do follow, they do separate that part of their lives. Like I follow The Rock, and you always see The Rock promoting his stuff or working out, or when his daughters are drawing on his face. He doesn't really I was a little annoyed that shit he did with Oprah. It grinds my gears when millionaires and fucking billionaires ask for money from us. Like in that video is billions of dollars sitting there asking us to give money to Maui when Oprah owns an egregious amount of land in Hawaii. And y'all stealing all the water for your resorts, but y'all asking us for money for Maui. And you gave a couple $1,000,000, which is pocket money. So you want us to give in your best interest. I was annoyed by that. I was annoyed. But I heard he's doing good things in Mexico, as far as, because he has a tequila, and you use the agave plant. So I did hear that go, motherfucker, go. Fucking dummy. I heard that he is doing good things as far as really reinvesting into the community and fair wages and health benefits and safety and all of that when it comes to the fields, and not just raping the land and the people. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but guess what? Guess where I heard it from? His fucking platform. So who knows if it's true or not? But anyway, give me the perception. I'll take that. So next story is Kerry Washington coming out with this memoir. And the biggest salacious thing in this memoir is that when she was doing Roots, not the movie, the documentary where they test your DNA and find out your history and when you come from, and it'd be so good because some of them be like come from slave owners, rapers, murderer. I think Sarah Jessica Parker people was hung at the stake at Salem. Good shit. So Kerry Washington now is having this memoir, and that's the biggest thing, that she didn't know that her dad, who she grew up with, and let's be clear, Kerry Washington did not grow up poor, broke, two-parent household. The parents are still together. But about 5 years ago, she about 45, 46. So when she about 40, she found out that her dad is not her biological dad because he has a low sperm count. They had trouble conceiving, and they got a donor. Now, I watched the video saying that the mother was a hoe because the first test tube baby didn't happen in the 80s, but you ignorant fucking people, she's not a test tube baby. She's artificial insemination, and that dates all the way back to fucking 1860. There's a big difference between a test tube baby, which is where they take the egg out, take the sperm out, put it together, put it in a test tube, let it grow, then put it inside of you. Then to take sperm, clean it, and inject it in you. Big difference between artificial insemination and IVF. I am artificially inseminated. That's how I created my twins. That I was not IVF. But let me tell you something. No tea, no shade. If that IVF didn't work, I was going straight to IVF because my insurance only paid for a lifetime of 4 treatments. Didn't matter if it was IUI or IVF. You only get 4 with that insurance for a lifetime. So my doctor recommended, let's try IUI first. If that doesn't work, we go straight to IVF. And I was like, I'm with it. And guess what, y'all? It worked the first time. And I got twins. See, my issue was releasing an egg. I have PCOS, so I have fibroids, which means the egg gets ripened and never busts. So I had a bunch of nice, sleepy, dormant eggs ready to go. And when they gave me that breast cancer medication, they popped out. I had 3 come out and 2 was fertilized. So anyway, back to Kerry Washington. Her mom and her father said they were inseminated. So what happened was, they inseminate you, and I know this is true because they did it with me. They inseminate you and they tell you to have sex. Not a lot of sex because sperm needs time to regenerate, right? So you have sex every day for 3 days. You have sex before you get inseminated. You have sex a couple hours after you get inseminated. And you have sex the day after you get inseminated. 3 days. After that, the eggs don't live that long. The maximum I think an egg can before it's is 72 hours, and maybe even less for some people. So for those 3 days, day before, day of, day after you have sex. That's what the mother said, and that is real. So although they used somebody else's sperm, there was a possibility that he could have been the father. He didn't have no sperm count. He just had low sperm count. And they really, 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 really wanted a baby. They wanted a baby so bad that when the mom got pregnant, he walked around proudly with the ultrasound. He wanted a baby. They wanted a baby. She's the only child. She was loved, and she's from the Bronx. That is the biggest thing that people are taking away from this book, but that's not why I'm talking about it. Recently, she was on the F line in the station looking like $1,000,000, as she should, giving out copies of her memoir because she is from the Bronx. This is what I have a problem with. Is it a problem? No, it's not a problem because that's what you're supposed to do. But I'm going to call out the bullshit. When is the last time you heard Kerry Washington doing anything for anybody in New York City, let alone the Bronx? When is the last time you heard of her being around here? To me, never. And if she is, it's not newsworthy. I've never heard it. I've never heard it. But you come here offering nothing. You offer nothing. You're offering nothing to us. And you come here on the train peddling your wares. And yes, that is an old term and I will use it. Peddling your wares. What you should have did to at least get the optics right is come around November, give out some turkeys, peddle your wares. Get a big truck full of frozen turkeys, park it in the boogie down somewhere, give out a book and a turkey. But you just don't come to New York on the train in a $10,000 dress and $5,000 shoes, giving out copies of your book because you're from the Bronx and you want to give back. You're not giving back anything. You're peddling your wares. That's how you're supposed to do it. Should I go into public relations? Because what she did seemed so disingenuous to me. And let me tell you something. I knew she was from New York. I wouldn't have bought it. I'm a big supporter in supporting your local public libraries. Get a library card because that fuels the funding. And I was going to go rent it from the library and read it just like I did Michelle Obama's book. But no, I'm not. Because one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to play in our faces without lying to us. Don't be all out playing in our faces now. Do something. Give out the turkey and the book. Put the book right in a Ziploc bag and affix it right to the fucking frozen butterball turkey. Get a book of the turkey, Kerry Washington. But no, that's not what you did. That's not what you did. I would have made it to work on time, but this weather, I hit traffic right getting into the campus. How y'all feel? Am I being too much? You know what I am suggesting seems disingenuous, but that's what you do. Let me tell you something. There's a zip code in the Bronx. It's the poorest in all of New York City. I think it's 10545. It's the poorest in New York City. That is the poorest zip code. And if you walk around that zip code, it is reminiscent of the poor's. There's a methadones addicts there. Everybody just looks tired and poor and overtaxed and overworked. And at least give out a turkey and your fucking book, you bitch.